Hey amigo, ready to race?
Well, hi there, we're going to take a look at some amazing Disney Cars toys, but there's an imposter in the ranks, so I better throw this title up. Well, hello there. Most people on YouTube would know me as a person who collects Thomas the Tank gear. My local charity shop does some amazing collecting for me. The bags of stuff come in like this to me, and in there is a whole bunch of Thomas take-along stuff. That's the stuff you want to get into if you're going to get that style of Thomas. But about a year and a half ago, I gave them a directive to maybe start collecting for me some Disney Cars stuff, in particular Lightning McQueens, because I thought, wouldn't it be nice to build up a Lightning McQueen collection like I did with Thomas the Tank? Maybe I could pull off one of the largest collections in the world of Lightning McQueens. So in this video, we're going to start to peep into the stuff that the charity shop has collected for me. But the only trouble is, I actually don't know much about this franchise. I'm going to rely heavily on the audience to tell me about these toy cars. Well, let me clear off the bench here and we'll get into these amazing looking toys. Well, this first toy, but it's actually a money bank, is Mater, and it's quite remarkable. It's got articulation on it. Okay, so it's a bit like a puppet in a sense. It's got all sorts of fancy detailing. It's also got some batteries in there. But I'll tell you what, this is the sort of thing that anyone who is into Mater would go crazy for. It's just absolutely beautiful. Well, I'm just bringing Mater up nice and close to the camera because I want you to see the detailing that's going on this toy, even though it is like a piece of merchandise. And it's a bit peculiar because it's got some sort of fluid leaking from it. I can see it glistening on my fingers there. I've had it for about 4 months. When my boy first saw this, man, was he impressed by it. And like I said, it's got all sorts of articulation things going on. It was making noises when I first got it, and we better check out what the batteries are doing. Let's begin one of these shots. Yeah. And there's always a mystery to what batteries we have. Oh boy, we've got some major problems going on in here. As I've said so many times in my Thomas collecting videos, leaking batteries can be the death of toys. It certainly looks like the case here. Oh, look at that battery. That's one bad pup, isn't it? That's been leaking horribly. Yuck. Well, obviously what I should have done was taken the batteries out and sorted this out as soon as the toy landed on me. But Lazy Leo is now paying the penalty of leaking batteries. But it looks fairly superficial, the damage here. I might be lucky. Okay, I've done a fairly quick clean. I've covered up the brand name of these batteries because we don't talk brand names, do we? Even if they're copper top batteries. Okay, another one of those shots. While I'm under here, that is the company logo. It looks like Thinking Toy, copyright Disney Pixar, Thinkway Toys, made in China, but I can't see a year date. Well, the toy info was there, obviously because the money bank can get your money out of here. Let's turn it on, let's hope it works. Whoa, that sounds... Oh, man. This is amazing.
I'm the world's best backward diver.
Oh my goodness me, what a fantastic money box. Let me just pretend to put some money in.
I knowed I made a good choice having you for a friend.
Wow. I cannot believe this. What a toy. Or should I say, what a money box. This is a beautiful item indeed. Let's see it once again. I can't stop.
What do you do when your tires feel low?
I'd hate to think how many things this says. Very, very impressive. There's a button here you can just start it off with as well.
Hey, who's your best friend? Did you say me?
Wowee.
Well, you should have.
One of the nicest things I've shown on my channel for a very long time, actually. Very nice. Wonder who out there's got one of these. Was there a Lightning McQueen of this style of money box? Like I said, I don't know much about cars, but hopefully I've kicked off with something very, very impressive. Well, this Mater here has completely blown my mind. It's going to be hard to top that. I wish I could find a year date on that toy. I've got a feeling it's something from a while back. You don't find things like that these days, I feel. The next one we're going to take a look at is this stunning Finn McMissile, and the price has been left on there from the charity shop. It costs $1.50. One thing about this toy is it's fairly large. It's very impressive. It's an Aston Martin. It looks just like the character that you get in the films, and I think Disney are very good at doing that with their toys. Versus another franchise that I look at, it's got nice detailing on the back here as well, and it's one of these toys that if you press it in the right spot, we're going to get some action, aren't we? Or I hope we are. Ooh, yeah. Well, this is a toy I did play with a fair bit to try and understand how it all worked, because I don't have the instruction manuals. I think you press the button on the side here to get that missile to fire. Okay, but of course the problem with these sorts of toys is you end up missing missiles, and that's why we're probably missing one there.
Activate weapons.
The more you press that,
Finn McMissile.
the more it talks back to you.
This is top secret.
It's a very, very impressive toy. And at the back here, if I hit the back bumper bar, it'll do something funky, I hope. Whoa, okay. Hey, so we've got another gun at the back here. And we've got some sort of, well, whatever he does at the front there. He's a secret agent, isn't he? And also you can press this here at the back here to fire that missile. Oh, and I've just lost another missile. That's how they get lost. Nevertheless, it's a very, very impressive Finn McMissile Cars toy. I'm not familiar with how these are marked, but it says this underneath here. I can't see a date. There's another very long, boring read there, but there's no date. But what's got me perplexed is I do not know where to look for the date on these toys, or are we dealing with a different animal when we're looking at the Disney stuff? Well, I did go and find the missile that shot over the back of the table. I'll put this back together as best I can. I'd hate to think how much this toy would have been when it was in the toy shops. Without that year on there, I'm sort of blind and trying to tell you what year this is from. It looks fairly recent, but hey, I know very little about Disney cars, and I'm really relying on the audience to tell me what's going on here. Okay, Finn McMissile's going to do a donut, and he's Aston and drive away. Whoa! And we're going to look at this Lightning McQueen next. Okay, this Lightning McQueen toy, it looks like it's had what I would call in the Thomas realm a bit of Thomas love. What we're going to call it with McQueens, hey? A bit of Cars love. I don't know what we're going to call it yet, do we? It's always nice, they do, Lightning McQueen, Disney does it, when you see the toys, it always looks pretty close to what you see on the film, even though this one's got exaggerated wheels and all, but there's a reason for that. We look around the back here, we notice there's little rollers underneath here, and I think this is one of the toys that would have a ripcord that you feed down through the hole there and go whoop, and the wheels would do that and the car would take off at high velocity. I don't know the name of this toy. It may have been called the Ripcord Racer, but even without the ripcord, we can still have a bit of a play. If I do that, it'll do this. Whoa! And it's going to find the edge of the table. Go on, one more play, because we like to see things play, don't we? Okay, oh yeah, go McQueen! And he just crashed into himself. But just like my Thomas collection, every McQueen is precious. So this is going to be a nice addition to the small collection at the moment, which will become very large in the future. Well, the next two are two toys that I actually purchased. They were on special, basically, in the discount bin at the toy store. They're in the pool toys aisle, if that makes any sense. I think they're either bath time toys or pool time toys. There's an impeller here. And what's curious here is there's a date of 2010, Swimways Corporation, Disney Pixar, and also a warning here because it's a pool toy. So seeing the date there has just blown out of the water any idea that these Cars toys don't have dates, and that was no pun intended. There's an impeller here, there's a button here that turns it on, and something there you can make it turn if you want, but let's throw it in the water and see what it does. Yes, that's a tub of water, and yes, that's a Lightning McQueen about to go in there, and let me just show you how the impeller works. It'll pick up the water there, and it will spray it out the back, and let it go, and you can just see how vigorous this is. How vigorous this is. Yes, I have a saying about pool toys. I'm yet to really find one that super impresses me. And what's even worse is that, just look at McQueen there, he's actually sinking in the back there. It's not a pretty look when you're meant to be the superhero and your back end is sinking in the water. But nevertheless, that's what that toy does. With McQueen there trying to drown himself, what was a little bit silly on the Finn McMissile one was the fact that where the screw was for the battery compartment was basically interfered by this hydrofoil here. You couldn't get a straight go at that screw, and it wouldn't take very much to wreck that screw, and then the toy sort of semi-wrecked. But considering how dynamic Finn McMissile is in the films when he's in his hydrofoil mode, I'm not even going to embarrass him by putting batteries in and letting you see him sink. Because sometimes a secret agent, has to keep his secrets. He's just getting rammed by McQueen. Well, maybe I'm being a bit cruel here, but I know from buying quite a few pool toys that they tend to, well, in the end, don't... Oh, just sprayed me with water. There you go. It's from saying a few bad words about me. Actually, go McQueen. Pool toys tend to be, well, a bit of a non-event, I found. And just while we're thinking about Cars toys that go in water, these are new ones that I found in store. And I'm curious as always, and I thought I might do a review on these, if they're half good. Didn't make it to review. Mater has gone missing in action in the home. He's in there somewhere. I've got his card, that's about all. And we've got Sarge here. And I'll do the King, because probably the King is the best performer here. Don't want to embarrass him too much. Okay, it's clicking, I'm holding the wheels. And watch the King go. Here he goes. There he goes. My son played with this in his bath for a bit. Not too long, I'll tell you. And then ended up, well, outside, and he stopped. And I don't know, possibly that's why it never made it to review on my channel. There are actually many toys that I buy from the stores, and I take a look at them, I let my son play with them, and I never ever talk about them online. But hey, maybe you think they're the best thing since sliced bread. I just really wanted McQueen for my collection, and he looks like that. Very hard to find that one there. He seems to be the most popular chappie. Let me clear these water toys away. The next thing we'll talk about is these two here. Well, okay, this first item here is something I actually saw in a garage sale in my area. $4 for this, and it does have a name on the back here. It's called a Pit Crew Wagon. It's a sort of wagon. You've got the handle here. You can load it up with Lightning McQueens or whatever. Jag it around your backyard at high speed. It's got some nice artwork on there. The team, Lightning McQueen team, on the other side is the same, and underneath is quite a curious read here. Well, this Wagon, it's licensed 2012 Moose Mountains Toy Makers Limited, a subsidiary of Jakks Pacific, and there's an address there, Hong Kong address, made in China. So no surprise it's made in China, but there is another item which had a date, and maybe the Disney Cars real fans can tell me why some things have dates and others don't. Thinking of other things, here is a beautiful tin. It's got some fantastic artwork on there. A lot of attention to detail on this one. Let me just spin around the other side. There is the artwork on the other side. I can only assume this was maybe something to do with Easter time. It's basically empty inside. It's a sort of thing that you would see around Easter, you know, possibly packed with Easter goodies. Some artwork on the back there. It's quite nice. It's the sort of thing that if you're a Cars collector, you probably want one of these, but I won't be keeping stuff like this. I really want to focus on collecting Lightning McQueens. Our next Lightning McQueen is a little bit of a wounded warrior. We're missing a wheel there, so the previous owner would have given this toy lots of love. But don't worry, it's now ended my collection, so I'll be giving this toy a ton of love as well. It's no date underneath, but what is underneath here is very interesting. Well, here's this mechanism. It looks like a rat trap if you ask me. I tried to get it to work by spinning the wheels. I thought maybe there's something you do and it will flick out. The only way I can get it to work is if I press here and then it flicks out. And I think the way this toy used to work was you gave it a bit of a spin, it used to run along the ground, get to a certain point and then go flicko. Something like that. Or maybe I am totally wrong because I really don't fully understand this toy because I haven't got one in pristine condition. But nevertheless, even in its broken state, I can give it a bit of a rev. It's got a great sound, and let it go. Whoa, go McQueen, go! Oh, that's the ground. Oh, one more time, because that's fun. It's actually got a great sound, this toy. Oh, it's scuffing up my table there. There you go. Go McQueen, go! It's okay, McQueen. It's like that around here. The next toy is Mater. It's only a relatively small toy and it's got a fairly unusual feature. It's one of these toys that you basically pull back, or pull forward in this case, and the toy then goes backwards. But what it does when it goes backwards is fairly unusual, and you certainly don't see that every day. What I do notice on the Disney Cars toys is the attention to detail in rendering their characters. It's a shame Thomas and Friends didn't take a look at what Disney do with their toys here. This Mater looks fantastic. It will not disappoint. Underneath it just says Disney Pixar China. There's no date. I just noticed I've got to do a bit of a tyre repair here on Mater, and it's also suffering a thing that I see on some Thomas toys where you get a lot of fluff and stuff around the axles. So look at that there, animal hair, carpet hair, who knows what hair. But that sort of stuff can inhibit the toy's actions. So hopefully the repairs are done, and it's really, let's call it a pull forward toy, because you pull it forward to get it to do its thing. Let's give it a drive. Whoa, there he goes. And here he comes, coming the other way. Whoa, straight in the camera. You're a star performer, Mater. Well, I have to admit the Mater toys are actually proving to be quite nice, very entertaining toys, considering he's only the second fiddle character. Well, this next one is a whole bag of Cars goodies here. $8 on this. This is how the toys come from my local charity shop. They come in bags like this. I think that's fairly reasonably priced considering what's in there. Let's rip it open and take a look. Better do one of these Hulk shots, you know, like remember Hulk used to rip his shirt off? I think Disney Cars isn't coming to me as hard and fast as Thomas the Tank. And I think I'll explain it like this. Disney Cars, the first film was it 2006, which really wasn't that long ago. That looks like a ring in actually. Brum. Go away, Brum. And the second film was about 5 years later, 2011, so really there hasn't been that much time gone by. Let's say versus Thomas the Tank, which has been around for a fair bit longer. Nevertheless, I'd say Disney Cars, Lightning McQueen, all that sort of stuff, is as popular as Thomas the Tank, and some may argue it's even more popular. Looks like a pretty awesome bag of Disney Cars toys actually. Well, here are those toys in some sort of order here. One of them's a little bit strange, but it's quite an interesting array of Disney Cars toys. Well, the first Disney Cars here are Squinkies. Yay! Squinkies were hugely popular a couple of years back. That's Flo. I don't know all the names. Looks like it's got a bit of a split going on there, so it's had a bit of play. Squinkies were great, detailed little toys, very inexpensive to buy, but in our house when the trash pack turned up, they basically blew the Squinkies away. I do not know the name of that character there. Looks like it's had a bit of play with the wheel rub there. If I don't know the name of a character, I'm not going to sound like a smart aleck and look at a wiki page on a computer next to me. I'm just going to say I don't know. I know the Thomas names, hopefully. I know my Chuggington names, but I'm not crash hot on Disney Cars. I know this one. Finn McMissile, and even for tiny toys it had a nice amount of detail, which was sort of what the squinking was all about. And for the fact that they squinked, and squinking means like this, and you can do, you know, boo as well, make a fat McQueen, or should I say rotund. Fat can be alarming to some people, but nevertheless they were very nice small toys. Let's take a look at this tin next, and it's just taught me a name. I very much like toys that come in collectible tins like this. It's very much a thing of what car collectors do. Luigi. Underneath here, it says that there Disney Pixar Fiat trademark. Made in China. Why aren't we surprised? Let's take a look inside here. See what we have. Oh yeah. It looks like a little Christmas decoration. If anything, it's got a hook on the top. I wonder if that's been added later or if that's the way it is. But whatever's going on here, it's actually a very nicely detailed, very small toy. You can see the size of it in my hands there. It's lovely. I mean, I like little things that are detailed like this. Maybe you can tell me more about this little toy. Obviously, I'm curious about the McQueen version of that because I like to collect Lightning McQueens. Next will be that funny looking bean and that camera. Well, this here is Lightning McQueen Mighty Bean. It's 2011. Disney Pixar Moose Toys. It's got 95 on the top there. It's very nicely detailed. The fact it's weird because you got Lightning McQueen, which has been like splayed out onto a cylinder here, and there's the back of him there. You go the other way, there's the front of him there, and then there's the side of him there, and the back again. But I think I'm missing the bottom part here, whatever the bottom did. Not that crash hot or up on what Mighty Beans are all about, but I like it for the fact it's McQueen, and I will be keeping that. Then there is this camera. Oh man, these are like dime a dozen in the stores. It's a licensed thing, Disney Pixar. Even though some people say, oh, it was a knockoff thing. No, these were. Let's see what the price there. There we are. $4.95, 5 cents off $5. I've just put fresh batteries in this, so it's going to make it sounds. And if you peep down through that, it showed you a picture of cars and stuff. And yeah, the more you press the button, the more sound you get. Next, we'll take a look at this Luigi. Well, I hope it's Luigi. Hopefully I'm learning something along the way. If I'm wrong, you'll be screaming at me. Now, the first thing I'm going to say here is that this has got some similarities back to that Mater. That was the pull forward Mater that went backwards. I say that because the tyres are very similar, although I do notice on this one, the tyres, some of them had split. Okay. Underneath, it's the same markings or lack of. Looks very similar to Mater, I tell you. But let's give it a spin. And to operate this one, you pull it back and you let it go. Whoa! Give it another spin. Yeah, straight for camera. Boof. Yeah, very comical in the way this one works. Look at the action on those rear wheels. Go. I'm about to save Luigi, and here's a bit of Cars trivia for you. Do you know what Fiat stands for? Fix it again, Tony. Well, sorry, Fiat fans, I think that's a Fiat Bambino. And if you've ever been in one of those little cars, they're actually fairly nice, nicely designed cars. Okay, next one we'll take a look at is... probably get rid of these two plush right here. Okay, this Finn McMissile. It's nicely detailed and nice shaped, considering it's a plush, because we see that Disney cars, people put a lot of effort into making sure the characters look right. This is the tag, and I believe this is a real McCoy toy with the plush realm. It's so easy to get caught up with knockoffs. I don't want to get too much talk about knockoff stuff in this video, although we will be going there shortly. It's nice, isn't it? Anyone who is a Finn McMissile fan will be happy. Here is Lightning McQueen. I'm pretty sure this is a real McCoy one as well. It's got all the nice details. Everything's right. It says Lightyear there and Rust Ease and all the rest of it. Most importantly, here's a tag. It's a fairly well-worn toy, so it's had a lot of call McQueen love, and it's there, and it's from Hunter Leisure, and that's actually the people I called up, which had the weird tag on the other. Remember I was talking about the knockoff plushes that we're getting about, and they were lovely people to have a chat to. This McQueen here, it's got a lovely smile. It's, you know, bright and sparkly. It's beautiful. A little bit of love, like I said in this one. It's a bit grubby and dirty. I don't know if you can see that there. It's a bit of dirt around the front there, but hey, I don't mind seeing toys that come through showing a bit of love. Well, the next cars, there'll be multiple of them we're going to look at, is that one there, those two flows, and whoever that girl there is. Well, all these remarkable toys are Happy Meal toys, and I remember when these came through McDonald's and they were very popular, and I think you'll find that these are going to be some of the most coveted toys that come to me through the charity shop. Each one of them had a bit of a feature in the fact when you pushed it along it did something. I just wish I could remember her name. Sally, is it? I'm sorry if I get it wrong. I really do not know. Even though I've watched the films, the names have not connected to my brain. There's no way I'm going to remember this guy, apart from the dude. But, I mean, detailed, nice sized toy. Came with Happy Meal. If you wanted to buy the toy individually, you can still buy them for $2 in Australia. So it's the best small, cheap toy you can ever buy. It's getting about. These toys often had pullback motors in them. It was nice, but also if they had a pullback action, but sometimes they have other little tricks as well. You could actually steer some of them. You know, for little toys that were coming just as a Happy Meal toy, they were absolutely fantastic. Maybe a bit of an insight into the grandness of the Happy Meal toys from a bit of a bygone era. Looking underneath there, I can see 2006 Disney Pixar, made in China. MD Corp means it's a Happy Meal toy, McDonald's Corp, and there is one of the flows. Okay, made in China, that's the bit I'm getting to here. Just look at that. Here's the next flow. Made in China, all 2006, but then there's always the odd man out, isn't there? And it's this guy here, that Combi, and it's 2006, but it's made in Vietnam. Why? We normally have Thomas and Friends Mysteries on my channel, but there's a Disney Pixar Cars one for you. Next up is this very small version of the King. Well, again, Disney Pixar has delivered a beautiful looking toy. It's a little bit squashed and compressed here. It's the King. I think this is based on a real person or a real car. I think I remember watching American Picker Show where they had a door or something that they were chasing from a museum. I hope I'm right there. Please don't heckle me if I'm wrong, because remember, I'm not American, okay? I could tell you all about Skippy the Bush Kangaroo, but I can't tell you about this car or car racing or these styles of cars because I'm not American. I'm sorry about that. Nevertheless, this is a nice car. I do not understand what sort of Cars toy it is because I don't know that much about Cars toys yet. Let's take a look under here. Okay, it's very, very small writing. Disney Pixar China. I'm not surprised that there's no date here, but what is interesting is it says Plymouth Superbird and then copyright Petty. Was that the driver's name? That rings a bell in my mind for some reason. I hope I'm right there. And you know what? I think I've actually got the clean version of this toy. I think it used to be sitting up on the toy jars up the back. I've got to go and find it. Anyway, while I'm up close here, let me grab another small toy here. It's nice, isn't it? It's only tiny. I think this is a Disney Cars thing. I hope I'm right there. I can see Pixar underneath there. I have got no idea what this guy is called. Anyway, you can help me here, guys, please. It's in good condition, it's lovely, and let's look at something else. Next is this one here, and I think it's like the McQueen we saw before. Okay, well, this is a nice sized toy. It's one of those ones that would have had the ripcord, and it has that action like that, yeah. Oh, sorry about that, just blew the gearbox. What I should have pointed out in the other one, but I will point out this one, it's got nice, soft rubber tyres, and you need that for the traction to do that takeoff. It's got the wheels here. Underneath, it just says Disney Pixar China. I'm not surprised, but I don't know the name of this character, but I bet you, I have a feeling he's one of the bad guys, and you know what I say that is because it's got green eyes. I might be wrong, but have you noticed on Disney films the evil characters always have green eyes? And hey, I'm not afraid of making mistakes, but this is a lovely detailed toy. It's not too banged around. It's got nice little details there. The mouths are always nice on these. The blower there, it looks cool, doesn't it? It's really nice. I just wish I had one of these to give it a good spin. Anyway, we'll move on to our next toy. Our next car is this blue guy here, but I can assure you it's fully featured. Now that's a welcoming committee. Oh yeah, this is quite an impressive toy. It took me a little while to work out how to get the guns back in. It's a matter of pressing that there again. And what I keep noticing is that the guns get caught on the doors on the going back in part. Maybe because the toy's a bit old and had a bit of play, but to get the guns out, you press that nice and firm. Bang! You know, it's nice, isn't it? Get it back away. And again. Oh no! Get the guns in, they caught the doors. There's one thing that these toys are missing, and as you see, I struggled with the names. There's no name of character on this. Underneath here, it just says, it actually says Mattel here. Okay, Disney, Pixar. There's no date, which is sort of sad because I like to know the dates. It gives me some sort of clue to what movie it's aligned to, although that would be the second movie, wouldn't it? Because it's got the blazing guns. And I think it all went gun crazy in Cars 2. Wonders if it will go gun crazy in Cars 3, or they'll get their guns caught in the doors like that in Cars 3. We never know, do we? Well, looking over this toy as a toy, it hasn't had much play because there's not many bumps and scratches and not much scuffing going on underneath. Sort of sad. Hasn't got much of the McQueen love, I suppose we'll call this. It's a lovely toy. I can't tell you what type of car that is because I'm not into cars. But it's a toy which has got a fair bit of attitude and toy mojo, especially when it does that. And far less toy mojo when it does things like that. And then there were two. We're going to take a look at McQueen first. All the Disney car die-cast toys, they do not disappoint. Any little Cars fan is going to be happy with this. Even a car collector is going to be happy with this toy. But the only thing I didn't like about this toy was this very simple fact that it did not fit correctly into Hot Wheels track. It was just a little bit too wide. Okay, so that really limited its playability with the most popular toy cars around. But nevertheless, it had its own playsets that were awesome. Not all of them, but one of them in particular, I think it was called the Piston Cup 500, was amazing. One of the best toys I've ever looked at. If you're a collector, there's all sorts of variations of this. I dare say there'll be people out there, hunting these down, making huge collections of this beautiful toy. In Australia, it varied between $4 at one shop, and if you're unlucky, you're paying up around $15 for this small toy. And up the back of my review table on this video, I've got just a small selection of the different variations of this beautiful toy car. I mean, it just goes on and on and on, and if you're a Disney Cars collector, I dare say you're having a lot of fun chasing down all of these variations. And maybe we'll move on from this classic toy to something that isn't quite classic. Let me reach over and get it, and here is a knockoff. I think this is the King in knockoff variation. And then people are just going to laugh when they see this. It actually looks like Sally's body, isn't it? With the King's markings, is that right? Am I just going totally bonkers here? It just says made in China underneath. And on my channel, we've got a very special way of dealing with nasty knockoff toys like this one. Well, I've got some Play-Doh in the right spots, and we'll give this little car a more powerful engine. Rocket-powered cars, a recipe for disaster. Oh, snap! That was a more powerful motor. Oh, that was fairly interesting. I did find the fake King's body down on the ground there. got to talk material science or else people will do me in for having fun. It's not the lowest of the low of the knockoff stuff, because if it was the lowest of the low, that would have been totally annihilated. We've just got one break emanating from the wheel arch there, going right across the body there. I'm a curious sort. I wonder if I pack that out with Play-Doh, like underneath here, and let it rip again. I wonder if we get a different result. Do you want to do it? I do. So anyone into making wild predictions, I've given up on that. I've got some predictions terribly wrong when I was playing with those Baymax toys, the knockoff ones that was. Very embarrassing when I get it totally wrong. Almost destroyed my garage down here doing those. Yeah, okay, yeah, it looks pretty cool. Let's do it again. Okay, it all looks Play-Doh funky, it's all back together. Yeah. Just be glad I don't run a kindergarten. Fire in the hole! So much for those who were saying Play-Doh was safe. That fake king has been blown apart. Well, that's a bit of a bend to an old saying. Elvis has left the building, Elvis being the king, and this is a bit of a fake king. Hope you get that one. Maybe the younger viewers will struggle. Let's try and rebuild the king here. I think we're missing a whole section of him, actually. I think I've got some of it. Notice he's broken up in a totally different way because Play-Doh's got magical properties that you'll only learn about from me. Powerful, that was like that. Okay, so we're sort of missing that whole back section there, which is in all little tiny bits of plastic. It's all behind me, but a lot of it is up on the table here, and the Play-Doh is all over the table as well. Just notice there's a piece of the fake king here. Back window, isn't it? I don't know if you learned anything from that, but I'll have to move on. And in the next video, oops, sorry fake king, we will kick off with this quite remarkable Lightning McQueen here that I found in store. It was on special. It was $20, and I thought, wow, I've got to pick this up. It's got 70 phrases and sounds, and sometimes I think the trick to this stuff is you'll see it on special and it's the time to pick it up. There's lots of it about, and I mean the high price of this was quite high. It's nice. It's in a Mack truck there, like the boxes Mack the truck. McQueen, this very, very large McQueen of all sorts of special features, resides in that beautiful box. I notice it says here, push down side of hood. Wasn't the hood the bad guy in Thunderbirds? Oh yeah!
Hey, amigo. Ready to race?
I am.
Speed. I am speed.
You are speed. This looks like an amazing toy, but we'll have to pick it up in part 2 of looking at this beautiful Disney Pixar Cars toys. I'll have to leave this here. I hope you enjoyed this. Sorry about not knowing the names. There's so many characters and I don't really know this franchise that well, but I'm sure you're going to help me. As always, thanks for watching and bye for now. It's an Aston Martin. It's about the only thing I know about this. Do a take two. Let's show you that action again. It's one of these toys that seems to have things hiding everywhere. Okay, back in it pops. Come on, back in pops. Oh, sometimes playing up with me, aren't you? It's very nice. It doesn't mean that I've got cockies going out on me. Pretty racy, doesn't it? And that's what we want to see with McQueen. Nice wheel on. Oh, take two. We drive along, I basically come along and then, oh, meant to flip. This toy was a working toy. You gave it a bit of a spin, it would go along the ground, and then it would get to a point and then, no, flick that way, not that way. To a certain point and then go flicko. Easier said than done. Give another spin. Oh, come on. Very feature-filled toy. Is this guy here? It's blue. It's a fully featured toy, I can tell you. Come on. Our next car is this character here. It's blue. I could not tell you its character name, but it's fully featured. Just notice a piece here. I wonder if you learned anything from that. Or I suppose blah 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 blah.